Hi folks, my name is Edmund Zangri. I'm the founder of Bid Ops. We are machine learning to automate sourcing strategy. Procurement is an immensely boring topic. Every time people ask me what I do, I say software company and try not to let them get further, because as soon as the word procurement exits my lips, the glaze get inches thick on their eyes. That's part of the reason that there has been so little innovation in the way that people buy things. So we are a productivity tool for contract negotiators at companies and governments to save time on saving money. Strategic sourcing is the process that people go through to negotiate with a supplier, to get a contract, to buy things at scale. So there are some elements of this presentation that are slightly technical. All you need to know is that everything that you see in this room was at some point bought by someone using a pricing model. What we do is we produce pricing models that increase the efficiency of the products and services that are bought. So we allow suppliers to bet on outcomes that lower the total cost of ownership. And so KPIs are key performance indicators. They are used by supply chain managers to measure success in their contract negotiation cycles. And we look at 4 types of efficiency. One is life cycle efficiency. Does the life cycle of the product use less energy, water? Does it have less maintenance and repair? Is the supplier good? Do they show up on time? Do the deliveries get there? Are they on spec? Contract efficiency. When there's a dispute, is it resolved efficiently? Do we know the legal venue? Are we going to save money on legal fees? And finally, demand efficiency. If you buy more of it, you usually get a cheaper price, which means if you can aggregate demand more efficiently, you can save money. So total cost of ownership, that's efficiency. We talked about the 4 kinds. Key performance indicators are how you measure that, and this drives return on investment in the sourcing cycle. So the basic idea, this is just a funny representation of the idea of total cost of ownership. Sourcing managers negotiate for cheaper prices. That's their job. The problem is that they often get worse stuff that hurts the other parts of the enterprise, who are then frustrated by the inability of their sourcing managers to get the stuff that makes the enterprise run operationally. So this is just a guy who's paid too less for a tattoo, and he's getting a not great tattoo. So we use a model called best value. This has been tested on infrastructure projects and commodity sourcing contracts all over the world. It has been enormously successful, pioneered by a research group at ASU. They have a group called the Performance-Based Studies Research Group. They're on our advisory board. They spent decades testing this model. Our software allows you to implement this at scale. So you have a question. This is a case study we did for Bloomin' Brands. They're a holding company that owns Olive Garden and a bunch of restaurants, Outback Steakhouse, and they were interested, what type of steamer should we buy? Which is a common sourcing question. You have different bids coming in. Do you make the decision on price or other factors? So we look at the specifications. We take the specifications, we assign a dollar amount, we measure that over the life cycle of the contract. It turns out that these specifications drive savings well in excess of the price of the product within the first 18 months. So it's kind of like if you bought a hybrid car versus a gas-powered car. How soon would that engine pay for itself? That's the question we answer. So we determine there's a distribution of costs. We identify the best option, and this drives savings. So there's a survey of chief procurement officers who are our customer when we do business development. These are the people we interact with. That says these people massively prefer integrated sourcing analytics, which is what our platform delivers, and our users just save time, because if you've ever had to deal with an RFP process, it might be the least pleasant part of your day. It's an unpleasant process, when you go and like get your routers built and like figure out how you're gonna set all that stuff up. It's a process, and it's something that most people who do it are not expert in. So our business model is kind of interesting. We actually will do a setup fee for very large enterprises, but we'll also run bids for free. And then we charge a transaction fee that's invoiced quarterly to the supplier, not the buyer, after the contract has been awarded. This has the exact same financial model as annual recurring revenue for a SaaS product, but it's a supplier contract. So this market is exploding. We have some competition. They're mostly consultants, or they're like payment processing solutions. Our team is great. We have full stack engineering, 2 people who are experts in supply chain. Our advisory board, like I said, is pretty stacked with just people who are experts in strategic sourcing, some people who are experts in how enterprises buy these software products, some people who have built these products, and people who have sold these products. And just so I don't go over time, we are currently in the process of raising our round, and we just closed 2 very large enterprise deals, which I'll talk to you individually later if you're interested in details about that. But we're going into implementation starting in September with our first major enterprise. That's it.
Nice work. So how can we as a community help support Bid Ops?
So we are looking for partners in different verticals. One challenge that we have is picking a beachhead market because there are so many different types of companies that could use us. And so you could help us by suggesting verticals or people who are struggling with an RFP or trying to figure out how to do a bidding process that are interested in saving time and saving money, and that is what we're looking for.
General questions?
Yep.
Define enterprise, companies of 100 or more, or what this product's for.
So our ideal customer spends more than $250,000 on a single category of spend.
And have you looked at government, or is that too much?
Yes, so we have about 1/3 of our current deal flow is government. City government, primarily.
Kyle, you had a question?
Yeah, so I think overall good presentation, you're a dynamic speaker, so you obviously your stuff. It would have helped to really focus on existing customers. You did a really good job of setting up who are your existing customers. You're answering some of the questions, so that would have been nice to see. As just some input. And then I was a little confused on the pricing model and who is your end customer? Is it enterprise, corporations? But you're getting paid by the supplier. So now, if the money goes from the supplier, then your customer is also the supplier. That was a little unclear on.
So our customer, in most cases, is not the person who pays for the product. The person who pays for the product is contractually required to pay for the product to do business with the person who is our customer.
So you're going after suppliers, that's your customer.
The problem that we're solving and the person that we're helping is the
On
buyer.
the corporate side, yeah, it's the buyer.
Correct.
But you're getting paid by
The supplier.
the supplier.
That's correct.
Which is required by the contract between the supplier and your customer.
That's correct. And this model is actually like fairly standard in the sourcing consulting industry. Probably the most famous example would be
Why
like
would
AT
suppliers
Company.
like to pay? I have a question to that. Why would suppliers like to pay? That would be an additional cost to...
Because they want to win the contract. They're competing to win the contract, and it's a requirement.
Yeah, think of it as an RFP, right?
Yeah, it is essentially an
You
RFP.
really want to.
So is it mandatory? Is it put in the clause, like in the terms, that the supplier will pay an additional amount for?
Absolutely. Suppliers are hell-bent on winning new business, and so elements such as a transaction fee are something that they are willing to do.
It's pretty standard for bond, to have to put up a bond for an RFP,
Yep,
right,
exactly.
to do it, so.
There are many requirements already. This is,
So if a supplier
a contract that goes with you, they can bid on any bid ops across the entire United States? Or is it just at that individual company or organization, they have to pay again for a different state government and again for a different one? Or is it
So you
across
create
everything?
one supplier account you can use with any person who's using the platform from the buyer side.
Right.
So it builds an ecosystem over time.
I have one question.
Okay, it's something like a bond.
I work for.
Yeah, it's
not-
Huh?
huh?
I think
It's just a different way of doing it, but like, there's like a lot of state government and education that you have to put up a bond, like a
Yeah,
personal
bonds are
bond.
okay, yeah.
Same way, to guarantee. it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, anyone who runs a lot of RFPs, those people that were interested.
Amazon would be another.
Surety note.
Yeah. We're especially interested in technical RFPs. I'd be more than happy if anyone's interested in actually seeing the product to do a demo for you privately at a different time. But we have a really nice demo for tail spend. So that's the long tail. It's something that's not managed. There's no contract for it. It's just people like essentially using their accounts, just buying willy-nilly. Big enterprises have this as like the main focus of the next decade of procurement technologies, like managing tail spend. This is the #1 priority for chief procurement officers. And so we did this demo that shows how we would aggregate all of the invoices that are used by a global corporation to get documents translated. So global translation service is a great example of tail spend. You're translating patents, you're translating marketing materials, you're translating work instructions for manufacturing. All of these documents are getting translated by different people. That's an enormous opportunity to aggregate demand, crush the price, and save. And you can drive unbelievable savings just by running a contract. So just the bid process, if you can get it done, is amazing. So what we allow is suppliers to bid on days late. We allow suppliers to bid on the accuracy of their translation. We allow suppliers to bid on the legal certifiability of those documents in court. And we allow suppliers to suggest their own success metrics and create rewards and penalties. So it's literally supplier-designed incentives for success throughout the supply chain.
So, does your product automate the RFP process for the supplier?
Yes, so
I've done
the bid
hundreds of
response
these.
process is essentially goes from a stack of documents that are a huge headache to fill out, and I cannot tell you how many, like, you would think very advanced corporations, very kind of integrated with, all the different technologies, have this as a paper process.
I've done hundreds of them. They're low and slow and awful.
This is a thing that has not substantially been innovated since the 1970s.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just did a demo actually for the buyers group that does LAX and other airports down in Southern California. And their bid process, they have like a bunch of really interesting technology for other things that they do, but their bid document contains a map because you have to find the box where you put your bid response in. And it's like a arrow, like, no, don't go this way, and like here it's circled, and like here's the little slot, and that's how they do all of their contracts, right? I wanted you to think about how many billions of dollars you spend is funneled through something that has a mail slot as part of that process.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be really interesting as a supplier, right? Because at certain times a year in technology, I'll spend, as a salesperson, 60 to 80% of my time just filling out RFPs.
Oh yeah.
Or more, right?
And if you can have more RFPs get filled out, then your bids are more competitive as a buyer, which means you drive savings just by adding other people to the bidding pool. So if I bet there are probably RFPs that you may pass up on because it might be time to go home. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you're a buyer, you don't want to be at the bottom of that stack because then your bid sucks because you don't have great companies who are participating because they have better opportunities or whatever. So it needs to be a win-win for both sides.
So I didn't see a marketing slide, but what would come to mind for you guys is definitely trade shows.
Oh, yeah.
What happens at trade shows is, as I go there as a company owner or a department head, I'm going to look for new products to buy.
Yeah.
And I typically have to put out, RFPs for those. So, I mean, Dreamforce, Ursa, any of these things is one-stop shopping for you. I mean, that's big bang. Touch a lot of people who are there to buy, gathering information of what they need to spend for the year. And there you are, making that process a lot easier for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of our early customers was actually a sports arena. So I had the pleasure of seeing Golden One for the first time a few weeks ago, because they had the Green Sports Alliance Summit, which is a gathering of stadium buyers who get together to buy eco-friendly products for sports arenas. I know, but great trade show, and you get to see the next generation of hardware that's going to be put into sports complexes all over the country, and you get to see how the buyers are thinking about that and get a sense of their intuitive pricing models that they're already kind of putting together.
Cool. One more thought on that is you might want to approach Salesforce when you feel like you're ready and become one of the apps that they offer in their app store.
Oh yeah, I mean, so I'll tell you, if you're interested in this, there is an app that does something similar in terms of like a heuristic representation. It's great for salespeople. It's called Visualize ROI, and it's in the Salesforce app ecosystem. And it's a tool that generates payback charts based on efficiency, but it's done by the salesperson. And so we kind of come in. We actually have a couple contracts that are supplier generated, like salespeople were just like, hey, we just sold this and we want to measure our efficiency. We have this Visualize ROI thing, but we want it audited. So we're testing whether or not doing ROI audits could be just a standalone service, but that's kind of, anyway, that's another topic.
Last question.
So you were asking, I believe, in a seed round for $750,000?
Yes.
Can you tell us kind of where you're at with your technology? Have you built it or whatever? And also, where will that $750,000 go?
So great questions. Let me try and be zippy. So we have a product, we have run bids, we have shown savings, we have 4 very happy customers. The main thing that we're raising the round for is the customer that we just got on, who we anticipate needing someone who can grow with our team and kind of be a customer success, account manager, relationship manager person that just is, we would like if they spoke German, and we would like it if they could just get to know that customer really well and constantly be, just delighting them. So that's primarily what we're doing, we're hiring.
Thank you, Edmund. Edmund came all the way from the Bay Area today. Is that right?
Oh yeah, from
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, Sacramento's a great place to build a startup, so consider that. All right, so thank you for coming to 1 Million Cups today. I have a challenge for all of you. If you know a woman entrepreneur, could you raise your hand? I would like for you to reach out to that woman this next week and say, hey, 1 Million Cups is a great program. You should come check it out. Because if you didn't know, maybe you noticed that we're pretty much all men. Well, I'm not a man, but there's a lot of men in the room today, which we love that you guys keep coming back, but I'd really like to have more women involved in the 1 Million Cups program. So the best way to get someone here is by inviting them. So how many of you have, raise your hand if you are a founder but have not presented at 1 Million Cups. We've got one, okay. Have you applied yet?
Yes, I'll be presenting next week.
Okay, great. So if you know founders, let them know about pitching at 1 Million Cups. And we're filling September right now, so we're good for the rest of August. And then for our presenters today, get this commemorative mug. Okay. And then we're running a little over time, but I did want to tell you guys about the Startup Digest. How many of you get the Startup Digest right now? Okay, so So the Startup Digest is a weekly email of the best events for startup founders in the Sacramento region. It's free to subscribe, and it comes out every Monday morning. Jeff Bennett and I are the curators of that. If you're interested in signing up, I have a little form on my tablet that you can sign up on. And today there are office hours.
Yeah,
that
we
you wanna-
talked about it before, but
Yeah.
just a reminder that Colby's here with Executive Staff HR if you want to sign up to meet.
And next week, there's 2 office hours after 1 million cups. Kyle with SBDC and what's
We
it?
have a CPA.
And an accounting one. So talk to Natalie about that. You can set up a half-hour one-on-one session. It happens after 1 million cups. So did I forget anything? How many of you are interested in healthcare technology or technology perhaps to help the elderly? Okay, so there's an event tonight. Aging 2.0 is a group in Sacramento that works on technology solutions for the aging population. They have a networking event at Hoppy's Brewery that starts tonight at 6. It's free to attend. It's a no-host event, so you might want to check that out. That's it.
And if anybody has any questions about Impact Venture Capital or innovation programs of the Entrepreneur Showcase, feel free to reach out to Natalie and myself or Aaron afterwards, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I see it. I guess less than connection. About some of the ideas what people sense. Yeah, he was telling me a little bit about it. I've got some travel here over the next week, but I think he's going to try and connect with me, just try and see what opportunities.
So we shouldn't be recording this part.
Yeah.